Hey, I'm the creator of Omnairis and the Whipping Witch, and today I am adding yet another character to my circus troupe of OCs. For quite a few weeks now, I have been designing characters that would help me get out of my comfort zone while drawing. And this week is no different. I am learning to draw cheetahs. So, as usual, when I draw new animals, I start with a study of said animal. And yeah, I felt like I was drawing a human person on all four legs, and that was really weird how close the anatomy is. But yeah, cheetahs are absolutely adorable. I love them. I want a cheetah now. But yeah, I have been drawing a lot of animals for this series, and I guess that's something I really want to learn how to draw and get better at it. So yeah, I've learned to draw horses, I've learned to draw birds, and now I'm drawing cheetahs. So kind of different. And for the first time in this series, I am not drawing only one character. I am drawing a full family of cheetahs. A mom, a dad, and 3 children. And the kids are absolutely adorable, once more. But yeah, not much to say. I had so many characters to design that I didn't really go through a full process of trying a bunch of stuff. I just went with my guts. And I was pretty satisfied with it, so I kept it that way. And at the end of the design, I did make a couple of drawings to show how the children change from man to cheetah. Right, because I didn't even mention it before, but they're a family of animal folks. So in Omnairis, those are people who can change between a human shape and an animal shape, I guess. And it's basically a scale, and they can go anywhere on that scale from human to animal. They don't really only have 2 shapes. So yeah. And once I had my designs, I moved on to my sketchbook as usual. And for some reason I started on the right side of the page. That was probably because I didn't really know what to draw. I wanted them to be basically acrobats, or like you see in real circuses where big cats jump through fire hoops, I guess. And I think I also want them to do trapeze, but I didn't draw them doing trapeze quite yet. But yeah, acrobats, and that's just so wide of a category, like that didn't really tell me what to draw. And I wanted to fit all of them in the spread in my sketchbook. And so I ended up with one of the children doing a backbend on the mother, who is in her cheetah form. And the other 2 children are like taking turns jumping from the hands of the father into a fire hoop. So yeah, that's what I came up with. I think the poses might be a little stiff, but that's because I didn't fully take my time to draw them. My pencil was not sharp enough. And yeah, since I started without fully knowing what I was going for, I didn't have great basis for it. But overall, I just wanted to see them in action, and I just want to use this as what it could potentially look like if I were to make a full illustration for them. Especially since my water-based markers don't have the variety I would need color-wise to, well, color them properly. So like the colors are a bit off. But it's fine. It does the job, really. And yeah, the child who is running, the girl, she's still in her basically human form, but she does already have the ears and the tail of the cheetah. And the brother who is jumping and about to pass through the hoop is fully changed. And the transformation basically happens while flying. So that's neat. And he's also twisting because like he is coming from the well, I don't know how to even say that, but yeah, he's twisting mid-air too, because cats are so like nimble and they can twist. They're real flexible, I guess. So yeah, and I did a few fire hoops to the background because it was really empty on the left side of the spread, and I moved on to line art. Since I had such a messy sketch, I wanted to do line art first to see where I would put my colors. And I used a brown marker for that, and it probably wasn't dark enough. Like there's not enough contrast, especially since they all have pretty dark skin. Well, in their human form at least. The cheetahs are yellow. But yeah, it did help me in the next part of the drawing. By the way, design-wise, I all gave them pretty simple clothing and not very circusy or costumey, I guess. But I just haven't figured out yet, well, I haven't decided yet what happens to the clothes when the animal folk shift. Like, if it's a scale, technically the clothing would stay. So yeah, I made it so the clothing would not tear if they shifted, and it would just fall to the ground. So yeah, but that also means that once they have shifted, they can't really get back into their human shape in front of the public. Yeah. So the clothing is fairly simple with bright colors and patterns on them. And that's all I have to say about that, I guess. For some reason, my wrist was starting to hurt while I was doing the line art, like I was cramping. I think I was too tense. But I was glad once it was over. And then I kept switching markers because I didn't know which color I wanted to do first. And I ended up with the light purple, which is basically the jewelry, which is not the most visible because everything is so small in this sketchbook. And then I erased some more of my lines before going in with the yellow for the cheetah fur. And as I mentioned, it is a bit off. I think it's a bit too saturated. Well, I guess it is a cheetah color that is a bit cartoony. That's what you see in drawings and stuff, but not really in real life. And into the pose of the mother, there is, well, her dress, I guess, the piece of fabric she was wearing. So I did include it in the drawing. Same for the child who has shifted into his cheetah form. The clothing is on the floor. And then I moved on to coloring the skin, and coloring dark skin is always a struggle because the lines disappear so easily, and apparently my camera was having a bit of a struggle to see through the dark colors, they looked lighter in real life. So I could somewhat see what I was doing, but you can't. I'm sorry. And then I remembered I needed to add spots to my cheetahs because they have spots. And it is one of the reasons why I chose cheetahs and not leopards, because leopards have a more complex pattern on their skin, fur, and cheetahs have just dots. So that's easy, but still, recognizable. And then I added the patterns on the clothing. Once again, my purple is a bit too dark compared to what I had in my original designs. But it also meant that it was dark enough to just go over the other colors without me needing to color around the pattern. But yeah, my characters are done, and I moved on to the fire of the hoops. And for that I basically used the colors I already had for the clothing and started with the darkest color, the red, and moved on to the orange. And I put the color from the outward to the inside, I guess, of the fire, because the middle part of the fire is the hottest and the lightest, I think. So yeah, and then I did some sort of ground. And I was done. And we are officially halfway through designing my characters for the circus troupe, so yay! We're almost done. Anyway, thank you for watching, and do stay tuned for more character design and fun stuff.